Everyone, Jennifer DeClaire here, the Bar Exam Mentor. I'm so happy to be talking with you today. We go live almost every Thursday at noon Eastern to bring to you the topics that are most crucial to you maintaining an easeful mindset when it comes to taking and passing the bar exam with grace and ease. Today we're talking about anxiety, why it happens, and how to pause the panic. So we're doing a 3-part series here called Pause the Panic. And in the first one today, we're focusing in on anxiety, why it's happening, and what to do about it. I'm going to dive right in, but I invite you to say hello in the comments if you're watching, and let me know if you're watching live or are you watching the replay. I really want to take a poll and find out whether you're able to attend at noon live here in the Facebook group, or if you're watching the replay, or if you're even watching this on my website or on YouTube, somewhere other than inside of the Facebook group. I really want to know about you and where you are watching from. Today, anxiety is at the top of my mind because not only are we in COVID-19 times where life has changed dramatically. Yes, it's been going like this since about March, and right now it's July, the end of July, almost August. So you had some time to get used to it, but new bar exams are popping up all over the board, and people are anxious just from the newness of it. It is true that new situations do cause anxiety. Sudden changes will cause anxiety because you have bar exam, state bar exam boards pushing off the bar exam at the last minute. It's a week or two before your exam, and they're letting you know it's been postponed for a month, and this is throwing a lot of people off guard. They don't know what to expect. So anxiety is now an even bigger deal because of the fact that it's not just the bar exam, which was already nerve-wracking enough to begin with, but now it's the bar exam plus all these sudden changes and uncertainty on all of our parts. It's not just the bar taker or bar applicant that is facing uncertainty. The Board of Bar Examiners, the proctors, the people who would have been aiding you in your test, they too are uncertain. It's a whole brew of uncertainty. Now think about what that collective vibration is doing. All of that uncertainty pooled together in one mental space, in one atmosphere. So all of those are reasons why this is completely crucial right now for us to focus on, even though yesterday, a few people already finished their July bar exam if their states kept the July bar. If you're joining in live, go ahead and say hi. I would love to talk with you in the comments. Now, for those of us who are taking a August, September, or October bar exam, listen up. This is the 3-part series called Pause the Panic, and this first one on anxiety is important for you to listen to because anxiety causes tiredness. It causes you to be tired. And so if you're supposed to be studying and you're not, and you can't figure out why you can't just do what you're supposed to do, if you're burning out before your study schedule has said end study, any of those reasons, if you're procrastinating, all of those things tie back to anxiety. And obviously if that continues, the tiredness, the burnout, and all those other situations, if those continue, you'll end up not studying your best. And if you don't study your best, then you will have a bad bar exam performance, thus fulfilling your worst nightmare. So that's the other thing that anxiety is causing, and why you want to listen to this video till the end so that you can squash anxiety, is because it will affect your bar exam performance because it's affecting you now. You're tired now. And if you're tired now, you're burnt out now, you're so over it now, you're checking out mentally now, you feel at peace, but you know good well you shouldn't be at peace because you've only done half of your study plan and you are 2 weeks away from the bar. If any of those situations apply, that's going to tank your bar exam performance. You're going to end up failing the bar, and then the reason why you were anxious will be reinforced. And once reinforced, it makes the second go around with the bar exam even harder because now you actually have proof of failure. So we want to resolve that head on. And so watch out for anxiety because it will drain you, it will affect your study, and it will affect your eventual performance, thus making any retakes even harder. Now, how do you go ahead and detect and squash that anxiety. That's what we're going to focus on in part 1 of this 3-part series, is specifically anxiety. Now, there are different sources, different reasons why you might be dealing with anxiety. And I'm going to pop on here into our Facebook group and see who's watching live. And if you're here live, go ahead and say hi and comment and let's talk to each other. But I'm looking at my notes too. So one thing you want to do to be able to detect and remove anxiety that is there is you want to conduct a personal self-inventory, right? Some people on our weekly group coaching calls in our bar exam mentoring circle, I will get probably every week right before the bar, somebody says, I feel too relaxed, I feel too calm. Is there something wrong here? And most people would say, no, everything's cool. Maybe some other people would jump in and start troubleshooting. But my question is usually, have you conducted a self-inventory? And then they'll say, well, what's that? And basically, hey, Joan, I love it that you say hi. I appreciate that. Basically, a self-inventory is going to go through all the main key points that you need to pay attention to. And if they are a go, then your peace is well deserved. And if they're no go, then it's a fake peace. It's a fake peace that's usually happening because your body is so tired of fighting the anxiety that it has essentially shut down and said, we're out. Your brain has said, it's over. I'm not doing this anymore. I give up the fight. And has just decided to stop worrying because you can't keep up that adrenaline, right? And so if you've been worrying this whole time through, your body is tired off of the constant adrenaline rushing. You're split from your studies because you're constantly trying to calm yourself down. And so while you're studying, you have anxiety, it's buzzing in the background, you've not addressed it, and therefore it's splitting 50% of your attention and your mental powers away from actually studying. Okay, that's a problem. And all those problems snowball into you actually performing badly on the bar exam, thus reinforcing the self-fulfilling prophecy. So your brain at one point, your body at some point is going to say, I'm tired of all of this. We're just going to stop worrying about it and just let it be what it is. That's not the right kind of peace. That's the kind of peace that is forced because you've given up. So the self-inventory is very important because you want to check off the boxes and make sure that you are at peace for the right reasons. So the first thing you want to look at is whether you are at the right place with your study season, your study plan, what you've committed to doing. Okay, and if you're not at the right place with that, that's what something like our inner circle is for. In our bar exam mentoring circle, we meet once a week so that you can check in and report, I'm on track or I'm not. And if you're not on track, we're not going to sit here and say, oh, boo you. We're going to actually work with you to find out what's happening this week for you. What happened? Was it work? Boundaries with family? Was it just, I don't feel like it? And then we're not going to say, well, then just feel like it or give you some kind of pep talk. We're going to go deeper and go into actual reasons why you're not feeling like it. And people come up with all kinds of stuff that they never really had thought about before. And it's amazing the things that come out of just having that short little discussion during our weekly check-ins. And we check in like that as a group. So even if you don't speak up because you're shy or you're ashamed, somebody else will probably speak up with the same issue you're dealing with, and you actually get helped by listening to them being coached. And that's how it happens inside our bar exam mentoring circle. This is how the support helps you pass the bar, because bar exam pass rates or fail rates display that academics alone is not going to do it. So you need to do a self-inventory on whether you're on track with your studies or not. And if you're not, you need to find out why. And we will help you do that. It's hard to do it by yourself. It's like trying to conduct surgery on your own eye or being inside of the pill bottle trying to read the label. Very, very hard. It's so much easier, 10 minutes or less, when you're able to be guided by a mentor who does this for a living, helps people like you every day. So first thing is you want to do a self-inventory. The second thing that you want to look at is whether you are passing your multiple choice question review or your essays, whether you're scoring 80% or higher in those things. If you are, then you have well-deserved peace, well-deserved peace of mind. You're fine. You should be relaxed. If you're not, We don't want you to be anxious, but if you're not concerned, then there is a problem, especially if you're very close to the testing time. If you're at the beginning of your study review time, then it's expected that you build up from like 30-40% to 80% proficiency. But if you're 2 weeks away from the bar and you're still scoring at 30-40%, we really need to have a conversation. And in those instances, I would suggest something like our study prep workshop. Now, our bar exam ready workshop is something that you should really do 4 months or 3 months out from the bar to get the best, because we teach you how to study in a way that your proficiency skyrockets very quickly. But you have to get in and find out all the different points of why you need to, how you need to study, what you need to know about yourself before you go study, so that your proficiency can skyrocket in minimum time. This is how people end up taking what used to be 8-hour study days and shrinking them down to 4 hours or even 3, and being able to fit it around a full-time work schedule, because they were able to learn the strategies and complete the assessments that we give you inside of the workshop. And doing so allowed them to shorten their study time, maximize their study retention and efficiency, so that when it came time to do those tests and practice and test themselves, they found that they were 80% or higher with proficiency in each subject area before the bar exam date. So if you're interested in checking out the workshop, I'm going to pop a link below in just a few minutes, but I want to go on to the third thing that you want to assess and see whether or not you have bar exam anxiety, and whether it's well-founded, and whether your piece is well-founded, or if you are probably just BSing yourself because you just don't know how to solve the problem, and so you just pick up a fake piece and call it a day. So the third thing you want to look at is plain old fear of failure versus fear of success. Okay, so if you did an inventory, you're on track with your study plan, you're doing good with your proficiency, and you're still anxious, then there are deeper mental causes at play. The reason why it's important to look at that is because if you don't, then you're going to have the side effects of the anxiety, even though you are already ready for the bar exam. You're going to have the tiredness, the burnout, the mental checkout. You're going to have the constant fight with the adrenaline fight or flight system. And all of those things are going to happen even though you actually are completely academically and mentally prepared for the bar exam. So you want to squash the anxiety, because it's actually going to sabotage your bar exam performance, even though you had already done everything you were supposed to do. And the only thing was that you couldn't get the anxiety under control. And that's a really sad reason to fail the bar exam. So to that end, what I offer is what I call an emergency mindset session. It's only offered a week or two before the bar exam. And it's a time where you can get in to have a conversation with me, and we can resolve that anxiety for you through coaching. And the reason why it needs to be done through coaching is that if you're 1 or 2 weeks out from the bar exam, you don't have time for a lengthy do-it-yourself-at-home process or reading multiple books and trying to figure out which one applies to you. Now, if you have that kind of time and you want to save your money, then go ahead and do that route. But if you know that, listen, I've invested all this much into getting my degree and getting this far, I've invested all this much into studying for the bar exam and my resources, and I'm not going to let a little, couple $100 stand in my way from actually passing just because I have this anxiety and I didn't actually want to get the help to get it solved. Right? So the way that we do it is bar exam focused. It's different from, say, therapy or, talking to your priest. We get straight to the heart of the issues as it applies to a law school graduate who is trying to pass the bar exam, which is this test that determines whether or not you get to enter into the career that you spent probably 6 figures and a lot of years trying to enter into. This one test, a lot hinges on. And there are a lot of professionals out there that just don't get that. Not only, am I a bar exam, like I've been through the ritual of that, not only do I have the experience of what it's like to be on both sides, passing and failing, but I've also helped hundreds of bar exam applicants like you through this phase. And so we get to the heart of the issue quickly. The other thing about it is that the heart of the issue is not academic. If you've checked off the first 2 points that we went over, you've done your self-inventory, you're okay with your study plan schedule, you're on schedule, and you're 80% proficient or more, as you're at the end of your bar study time, then the last thing you need to look at is going to be more emotional and spiritual reasons why you're afraid of failure or afraid of success. Now, just reading the definition of those two is great knowledge, but it doesn't help you resolve your problem in 45 minutes or less. That's why I offer the mindset session, so that people who are facing that issue and they're taking the bar in the next month, let's say it's July 30th now, so you're taking the August bar exam. You're a few weeks out from your bar, and now is not the time to go checking out books from the library or ordering from Barnes & Noble and thinking you're going to DIY troubleshoot your own issues. If you want to do that, roll the dice and take that chance, that's fine. But many of us much prefer just getting it out of the way to begin with. So if that's you, then you want to go to jenniferduclair.com/mindset-session. And that's going to allow you to get a spot where you can have a conversation and resolve that issue within the conversation. jenniferduclair.com/mindset-session. That's what I have for you today. Stay tuned for part 2 of our Pause the Panic series, where we will cover the next steps of panic, why it exists, and what to do about it, so that you can be fully at peace, rightfully at peace, and prepared for your next bar exam. See you next time, guys.